You're listening to Track Talk with the RacinBoys, brought to you by McCarthy Chevrolet in Olathe, or visit them online at McCarthyChevyKC.com.
You thought with last week's NASCAR weekend the season is over at Kansas Speedway? Not so. We got a big weekend this weekend, and it incorporates the brand new road course at Kansas Speedway, the Grand Am Series and Continental Tire Series, out there all day today and tomorrow testing the new road course. And admission is available to all everybody who wants to go out there. Just donate to the March of Dimes, and we'll get into some details of how you can get in and out in just a little bit. But one of the stars that's going to be out there this weekend is a more than 25-year veteran of road racing circles. He's been around a long time. He's Boris Said. He's joining us right now. Boris, how you doing this morning?
Good. How you guys doing?
I'm doing great. You're in Kansas City right now. Sorry about the cold weather this weekend, but just to talk, have you had a chance to get out and see this road course?
Well, last night when I got into town, I went out and took a few laps in the rent-a-car, and I was really impressed with it. I mean, you know, sometimes you really got to compromise on a road course when you put it inside an oval, but I think it's going to be really fast. It's got good places to pass, and it's going to be an exciting track, I think. I can't wait to get out there in a little while.
Boris, this is Scott Trailer. I want to ask you, we talked to some of the drivers. They were out there the day they did the opening of the track, the first time the cars got on there. Had a few cars out there practicing. I talked to several of the drivers, and they said, though it's not the most technical track when it comes to that part of it, it's still the high speeds and making the pass under braking is going to be critical out at Kansas Speedway. Could you kind of touch on that a little bit?
Yeah, that's what it looks like. I mean, you know, when you're going 175 miles an hour and you got to brake into a hairpin, it gets pretty technical, especially when you're probably 2 or 3 wide. There's plenty of room.
Right.
So, you know, every track has its own kind of, just the way you run it. And I think this is going to be really unique as far as the tracks that we run on. And I think it's going to be really fun. I think it's going to be good because it's easy to pass on. And I think going through NASCAR 3 and 4 is going to be wild.
Yeah, you're going to carry a lot of speed. Talk about that hairpin turn down there. You're going down one length of the back straightaway, then back the other way. What's that going to be like? You can carry a lot of speed down those straights, aren't you?
Yeah, I mean, you're pretty much wide open from NASCAR 2 till you get back to NASCAR 1, and then you got about a 40-mile-an-hour hairpin. So it's going to be really exciting. It's going to be really tough under braking, and it's going to show a lot of passing opportunities for sure.
Boris, how important is it to race at these kind of venues for road course racing, the crossover? We go to so many cool events, when they had the runoffs up there at Heartland Park, Topeka. Unfortunately, they're not up there anymore. But anytime we get a chance to go to one within distance of our broadcast, we try to go to them. How important is it to get the crossover, maybe some of the NASCAR fans, some of the fans that are used to going to Kansas Speedway, people that are just Kansas Speedway supporters? You've been on both sides of the fence. Well, how important is that?
I think what's important more about these events is it brings the track closer to the population, to where the easy to get to. And when you can put it inside an oval, they have grandstands where you can see, 90% of the road racing track. And that's really rare. If you go to Topeka, which is kind of out in the middle of nowhere, and, you pick a place to watch on the fence, you don't get to see that much of the action.
Right.
And I think by putting these courses inside an oval, it brings more action to the fans. And I think it's important.
You've been around this a long time, Boris. You're a former winner of the 24 Hours of Daytona, 12 Hours of Sebring. You won all the major road races and sports car races and been to every kind of venue known to man. What's this going to be like next August under the lights? You got the casino outside of Turn 2 out there. You got the big grandstands under the lights. How unique of an event is this going to be in August coming up next year?
I think it's really unique. I raced here in NASCAR back in 06 or 07. I don't even remember now. That's how bad my memory is. But this whole area they built up here is amazing. I mean, I'm staying at the Best Western right outside the track. It's probably the nicest Best Western I've ever stayed in anywhere in the world. I mean, it's a great hotel. And with the casino here and with the stores around here and the restaurants around here, I mean, it's a one-stop shop. There's so much to do, and you're 2 minutes away from the racetrack. So it's very unique in that respect, and I'm excited to get back there and race.
Hey, Boris, you talk about how fans have taken on to you a little bit. Really, all the people that wear the wigs and everything, and it just talk about your relationship with your fans. I think that there's a lot of drivers that have great relationships, but yours is very unique compared to a lot of them.
Yeah, I find it hard to believe. I mean, it's flattering for sure. I don't understand it. I mean, I really feel lucky that I've been getting to do this for 25 years. I love racing. I still like it today as much as I did the first time I ever did it. And there's very few sports, especially NASCAR and some road racing, that the fans are as passionate about the drivers and the sport as NASCAR. So I guess I just feel kind of shocked and surprised half the time when I see these guys with the wigs. At first, it kind of made me like, what? I got a bunch of 40-year-old guys with wigs shouting my name. But I guess if I wasn't racing, I would be caught up in it, and I'd be out there doing the same thing. I personally would be more of a Dale Jr. fan, but if they want to cheer for me, that's great.
Yeah. We'll talk about it on NASCAR side of it. You usually get one or two. I think you've had as many as 6 races in a season or so. What the plans? I know that I heard Miss Harvick talking about that they're wanting to get a race or two for you. I heard her on Sirius Speedway, Dave Moody's show the other day, and she was talking about that. What's the plans for you on that side of the fence?
Oh, I haven't heard that. I hope she calls me. I mean,
she did. She mentioned something about trying to get you a race as well. She was talking about the drivers that are over there, and that she included you under the umbrella. So that was good.
Well, that's good. I mean, I haven't even begun to think about next year. I just finished my last sports car race in Australia last weekend, and then this test. And once this is over, I'm pretty much done for the year. So come January, I'll start thinking about trying to work on getting a road race deal next year in NASCAR. And, if I only get to do 2 or 3 a year, it's still a blast, and I still feel fortunate I get to do it. And then, pretty soon, end of January, the 24 Hours of Daytona starts. And, road racing really, really looks bright for the future, for the sport, for all the young Americans that want to do it, with, Jim France and Grand Am merging the series with ALMS and hopefully create one really big series. I think, road racing futures never look brighter.
What would you do, or what would you say to people out there that would like to give it a try? I know I thought about trying to get into road racing. I was going to get a Spec Miata because there's about 40 of them out there on the track at one time. Seems like there's a lot of parity between those cars. If somebody was interested in maybe trying it out, or maybe going from oval racing over to road course racing, what kind of advice would you give them?
And there's so many different forms of racing you can do just to get your feet wet. You can go SCCA autocross racing, and you could take your street car and drive over to Topeka, and they race in the parking lot, and you can do that and then drive the car home. I mean, that's how I started. You can start in SCCA regionals and nationals, and you can gradually work your way up to the Grand Am series. So there's a lot of different avenues. I mean, the best thing to do is just go online and kind of research it and just see what fits best in your budget.
Hey,
I know a friend of ours, Ron Burkeith, he was started the V8 stock car class, but it seems like it kind of fizzled out a little bit. Is there a place for old Cup cars over there on that side to run?
Oh, yeah, I think SCCA has classes for that now. I mean, look, the economy's been hit hard the last few years, and hopefully we'll get a new president, and the government will get on the right track, and we'll start getting people employed and working again, and get the economy bouncing back like it should, because we're Americans. And I think once that happens, I think then there'll be a lot more opportunities in racing for a lot of people.
Boris Said is joining us. Boris, the fans coming out there today, what car are you going to be? I see a Corvette. You're going to be out there. What do they look for when they come out to the racetrack?
Yeah, we'll be in the number 31 Whelen Corvette, and it's a really great car. It's fast. It's sponsored by an American company that builds all the emergency lighting for police cars and ambulances and things like that. So I'm proud to have an American car with an American sponsor.
In these kind of test sessions, you got all day today and tomorrow. What do you hope to accomplish? How's that work in these kinds of test sessions out here?
I mean, first we get acclimated to a new track. We work on the gearing and the setup, and then just keep looking for more speed. So when we come back here in August, we'll be ready to go.
Well, Boris, thanks so much for being on the show. We sure appreciate it. We're looking forward to watching you guys race out there on the new road course at Kansas Speedway. They've been great partners of ours, and they don't make many bad decisions out there. And I think this is a great one with the road course down there, and we're looking forward to seeing you guys.
Yep, hope we can get a big crowd out there in August to watch us try to run into each other.
We'll
try to send them your way. Thanks, Boris.
Thanks.
Thank you. That is
right,
Boris Said, and this information for fans wanting to go out there this weekend, they'll have access to the infield both days, And fans wishing to visit the infield should enter Kansas Speedway at the France Family Drive. And for grandstand access, you're asked to enter Michigan Drive off Speedway Boulevard. Park in Lot 6, Gate D near Turn 1 will be the only gate open. And you'll have access from Turn 1 through the Hospitality Village to watch the testing. You also go into the infield, and they've got a deal there where you can park outside the tunnel gate and where the RVs park, and they have a tram access to get you in to the infield. So head on out there. It's going to be a little bit nippy out there, but during the day, I think it's going to be fun to check out the cars going around the racetrack. This is almost like an event, Scott. Even though there's no race going on, I think just about everybody's expected to show up at this deal.
I think they're going to have a huge turnout for this event out there next August. Under the lights, a lot of people love watching the speed under the lights. It kind of sensationalizes that a little bit more when you see the cars in or off into the corner and they throw some sparks out because they're under braking and maybe bottom out the suspension a little bit. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It was good to hear that Boris said that there's a little more technique than maybe some of the guys that we spoke with a little bit earlier. Mentioning going at those speeds and bailing off in a corner. You probably need to know what you're doing, and there's probably quite a bit of technique that's involved in that.
And while you're out there checking out the road racing today, head on up to Lakeside Speedway. They've got that swap meet going on. The auction starting at 9. They're already out there serving breakfast, so bundle up warm and check out both those events out there. It should be fun.
A little programming note, the final RacinBoys TV of the 2012 season is tonight. It starts at 6 o'clock on Metro Sports. Now, this particular episode that airs tonight, you will only be able to see it on Metro Sports. You will not be able to watch it on RacinBoys.com because of our agreement with NASCAR Media out at the Speedway. They were gracious enough to allow us to go around and have open access with our cameras just about anywhere we want. I know Todd and I, we got some really cool shots on pit road during the race, and we blend that in with some of the NASCAR video that we retrieved, and it's going to be a real interesting. I know it's been very labor intense for both Kirk and Todd all week when I've been out of town to get that done, but don't forget that's tonight, 6 o'clock, RacinBoys TV, the final edition. We hope everybody enjoys it. It's pretty interesting stuff, Kirk, isn't it?
It is, and it's fun. I mean, yeah, labor intensity, but we have a good time putting that show together and looking forward to next year and bigger and better than ever for RacinBoys TV. So.
Yeah, and I was going to say, if you haven't heard, last week we made the announcement on the pre-race show out at Kansas Speedway that Metro Sports has asked us to come back and do that show again next year, so we're looking forward to that. We'll take your suggestions if you'd like to see something maybe a little bit different or maybe a driver or just some kind of concept that you think would be interesting for us on RacinBoys TV. Just email Kirk and I at RacinBoys@RacinBoys.com. Just repeat yourself, RacinBoys@RacinBoys.com. Just give us a suggestion on maybe a driver or some kind of idea that you'd like for us to do next year. For me personally, Kirk, I'd like to see us try to do some more behind the wheels like the episode last week that we put up that was a little dated, but nevertheless something that we'd put together that we'd like to do more of in the future. It's called Behind the Wheel, where we follow a driver around all night long, and it seems like that episode's pretty popular.
NASCAR Sprint Cup chase for the championship continues this weekend at Martinsville Speedway. The points battle, 7-point differential between Brad Keselowski and Jimmy Johnson. And if you look at the qualifying sheet from yesterday, not good for Brad Keselowski. He's got to start 32nd at a track he's really not performed as well, nearly as well as Jimmy Johnson and Denny Hamlin. Who's on the pole? 5-timer. Jimmy Johnson, and Denny Hamlin rolls off 5th. I think Keselowski is in a bad spot here. Can he rally back and make a run? This is not a good track for him.
I think that's a little extreme, Kirk. You know what? Brad Keselowski's never been leading the points going into this race either, and I think they're motivated. I don't think they're in anybody's head. I don't think you can get in Brad Keselowski's head. I don't think he's going to implode like Denny Hamlin did 2 years ago. I just don't see it happening. I think he's a little mentally stronger. We know that Denny Hamlin he's been to a psychiatrist. He's had all kinds of problems trying to get through some of his mental issues after losing that championship. And I don't see that happening to Brad Keselowski. I think he's going to be right in the middle of this before it's all over.
Yeah, it's not so much about him. It's the speed of his car in relationship to his competition here. I don't know if he's going to have the point lead coming after this race this weekend.
I know. You just like everybody else. It's going to be Jimmy. I'm sick of hearing that.
He dodged the bullet last week. That's his championship right there, man. He'll be hard to beat now.
No. They only cheated last week 30. A little bit.
Yeah, all right.
Right?
All right.